Welcome everybody. I am Natalie Minkin from the NZBCA. Just to let you know, we have a recording of this so that we can play it for you afterwards. So as usual, our webinar format is a roughly 30-minute presentation followed by about 15 minutes of question and answer. So hopefully we're all finished by 12:45. Yep. Our presenter today is Terry Gasparich of TG Design, and she's going to take over and jump right in. So welcome everybody.
Yeah, hi, thanks Natalie and Dan for the opportunity, and hi everyone. Yeah, my name's Terry, my business is TG Design. I am fractional marketer. I work with business owners to implement and manage their marketing on a monthly basis based around the 6 strategies I'll be covering. I've been in this line of work all my career, 16 years in my own business, and over these years it's how these strategies, when working together, can really help build a business. Right, so the top 6 strategies. Oops, jumped ahead. So the 6 strategies we're covering that form a comprehensive marketing approach is your website, print work, lead magnet, which is usually the free email download, email marketing, social media, and networking. And the biggest challenge I have that I help, and even myself, is keeping the consistency across all these. They all cross-reference one another and work in together. So first off is the website. It's your 24/7 open for business central hub. It's going to hold all your information, your products and services, about you, anything else that you can tell people. The more that you can get in your website, the better. It gives a lot of Google search information. And first impressions do matter. So poor design can turn away clients. So have a think about your layout. I won't get to be covering quite that today, but people are searching and checking you out online long before they get in touch with you. So think about your own habits. Even if you get a referral, you'll check them out online first, figure out in your own mind whether you really want to contact them. So it builds your credibility. So it's going to be building your credibility and professionalism before someone even gets in touch. If you have written your own copy, then have a look as far as your keywords and phrases. If not, I highly recommend getting an SEO copywriter involved. They will interview you, figure out what your top words are, and get them put through your copy. And make sure it's easy for people to contact you. Sometimes I've gone onto websites and it is hard. You have to really sometimes search, and I'm sort of thinking, good grief, why? And make sure you've got your call to actions sprinkled out throughout your pages. Make sure it's obviously mobile responsive. We've got over a very high percentage of website traffic is through mobile these days, that we all know we're on our mobiles. It is cost effective compared to traditional marketing. You've got the old radio, TV, newspaper ads were horrendously priced. So once a website's set up, yeah, there is an initial setup cost, but once that's up and running, it's pretty easy to add pages and flesh it out. Make sure you've got your Google My Business and your Google Analytics set up, because this will enable the big data collection, the visitor analytics, if in time you want to get into Google keywords and any big any big social media advertising. I think you need at least a good 6 months of all these strategies operating and flicking around between each other to actually build that data for any big advertising campaigns to be working, because it'll give them some data to work with. Obviously scales with your business growth, as we said. You can obviously tweak and add pages, sales pages, blogs, all things a bit later. And update regularly. Google doesn't like a static website, so make sure you are updating it at least on that monthly basis. Big one is often the blogs. If you can write a blog, you can get a lot of traction and a lot of longevity out of a blog from adding it as an article to your LinkedIn, being able to dice it up a bit for social media posts. Maybe you've got case studies that you can add in there, and also maybe pick 1 page a month, just to tweak some wording to add you're learning all the time and what you can add to your website and keep that fresh for Google. All right, next one is the print material. Print complements digital. They can work together. It has dropped off quite a bit because of the online stuff, but don't underestimate it. It drives people to your online presence with your websites, your social media, and got down there below the QR codes. Combining print and digital can give people a much higher recall. You've got a tangibility of print. These days you've got, I'm a bit of a print geek. I love it when I see the print samples, the different paper stocks, the different finishes you can do, the gloss. Some papers are like sandpaper. Some are actually made out of rock and they're quite cool and they're waterproof. Some really lovely stuff you can do. So have a think about your own habits of what you may have received, even in the mail or the junk mail. You hold on to things. So it's got a deeper engagement and a retention of it for print. So, and also, if you're going to a meeting and you want to, I still think you want to leave something behind. I mean, networking, we obviously often can hand out your business card. It's still something that you can tangibly leave behind from a meeting. You're out that door. It's a bit like you're out from a social media, post the seen and gone in seconds. So I think it has its place, definitely. It's got a longer shelf life than the digital ads. And the QR codes that I mentioned, I had a client, we do a catalogue of all his products, and we put all the QR codes that link back to his website categories. So that's been good. And it's sometimes even as small as a thank you postcard or a fun postcard, something just tangibly to, once again, it's all about keeping in front of your client, keeping yourself front of mind. And as I said, think about your own habits and what material you may have held on to and why, and what you find most referenceable in the long term. Right, next one is the lead magnet. So lead magnet, gives valuable content. It's usually a bit of IP, something that maybe answers, establishes your authority and expertise in your business, as often it's something, shows you, understands your audience's problems and you've got the solutions. So what are some of the topics that your clients ask you, questions, that they ask you time and again? That could be a really good starting point for an ebook. So lead magnet, you'll know what they are. That's where we all give our email for a free download of a bit of information. So we're obviously interested enough to give our email to be able to download this PDF or an ebook. So if you can create one that's got pretty evergreen, it'll last you a long time. It nurtures leads through that sales funnel. As I said, they're often warm leads because they are interested in what you've got to share or what you're offering them. Once again, if it's a well fleshed out ebook, you can repurpose a lot of content from it. No reinventing the wheel. And it builds your email list effectively and ethically. And it's like, your email database is your own asset, not like social media followers who actually belong to the platform. If you don't have their email address, you've got no way really of contacting them directly. And we all remember maybe years ago where Facebook crashed for about 2 or 3 days, and those that were running their business off there got a bit of a rude awakening, because out of the groups, if they didn't have those emails, they had no way of getting in touch with them. So this is where your lead magnet can build that email database effectively. And you can develop an audience segmentation if you've got a particular topic that you can then email them later about and give them further information and actually nurture them through a little bit more of an email nurture sequence. And your lead magnet, is obviously pre-qualifying leads. They're warm leads because, as I keep saying, they've given you their email to download something. And I'm sure we've all got emails that we receive. Have a think about what you liked about the lead magnet. What made you download it? What's obviously a topic that you're interested in, but what even follow the sequence and just see what you like about it and how you could implement that for yourself. And email marketing. So yes, you've got a direct line to your audience. They keep saying they've given you your email. They've given you their email. You can direct and personalize the communication. So we've probably all received those emails where it says, "Hi Terry, hi Jackie, hi Natalie." Just makes those personal connections. Provides, and it does give you detailed analytics. You can see who's liked what, who's clicked on what, and you can refine your strategy going forward. You can build the email welcome sequences. Once again, we've probably all experienced those. You download the lead magnet, you go into a bit of an email sequence, and that's again nurturing you along a path that hopefully will encourage the person to contact you. And unlike social media logarithms, email allows you to go directly to their inbox. And once again, as I said, you're building those retention and long-term relationships. And that it is cost effective. MailChimp and MailerLite still have free plans available. They are squeezing them out slowly over time, but for a smallish database, I think some of them are up around 500, or I think MailChimp's still up around 1,000. You can still send out free, so to speak, emails. And I'd recommend once a month, once again, staying in contact with your audience. I think that was, so have a think about the emails you get, why you like them. Check out your competition, and they can, what they're doing, what they're putting in their emails that you're actually clicking on and liking. And social media. So, this has obviously been a big game changer for the marketing area, is power to engage directly with your audience. A massive reach across all the platforms, real-time engagement and interaction. You've got your liking, your commenting. If you've written a post and you get a comment, you try and keep that conversation going and see, or take it into the direct messaging. Obviously, versatility on a platform with text, images, videos, and posting consistently, even with the modest reach, can build, trust over time. You're obviously getting robust analytics and insights out of all your posts, who's connected, and if you go and check further, you can maybe have further connections with these people. Which will obviously give you the targeted advertising if and when you wanted to do that. You're creating community around your brand with social media, building this know, like, and trust all the time, and builds SEO through increased traffic back to your website. So any of your social media platforms should be linking back to your website. Once again, it's your main hub for holding everything, so you're ideally wanting people back there. So think, social proofing on social media is the big thing. So you're thinking reviews, testimonials, and if you can get into videos about you, videoing your clients, those are all good social proofing buildings. And we're probably all predominantly on LinkedIn. So think about your LinkedIn recommendations. Are they all up to date? When you've finished working with a client, get them to put a recommendation on LinkedIn, obviously a testimonial as well, but you might have to sometimes write it out for them a little bit. I've done that before, where sometimes it's easier to get that recommendation up on LinkedIn for you be able to give them some prompting starts, and they can check and tweak it if they want to. And next one is networking. So, you either love it or hate it, I suppose, to a certain extent, but it's all about building personal relationships. In New Zealand, there's a small degrees of separation, and I always encourage clients to, go with the attitude of helping others first. You're once again creating that human connection of the know, like, and trust, generating word of mouth marketing with his referrals, opens doors for strategic collaborations, which is your win-win all the time. And diverse networks are stronger. So figure out where your clients are most likely to hang out, and maybe pick one or two networking groups. And all I can recommend is be consistent with them. You go there, you turn up every time. Doesn't matter who the speaker is or what's going on, because you don't know who's going to be there. But a lot of them are new visitors, new times, and you're never going to get around everyone anyway. So you just don't know who you're going to talk to. So it can provide new access to new markets with who you're talking to, real-time feedback. You're talking to these people and you can get insights into what they're doing, what you could cross over to what your business. It just really builds that bouncing around ideas, and it's increasing your visibility and reinforces your branding and enhances digital networking opportunities, like we're doing webinars and online communities. And the follow-up, highly recommend, remember to do your follow-ups, connect with them on socials, email them for an actual physical coffee catch-up and find out a little bit more. So yeah, that would be, you're into those. Right, so an integrated marketing strategy. So your cross-promotion of all these 6 things, your print materials are driving traffic to your digital platforms. Your website, your socials are promoting your lead magnet. Website, socials, and lead magnet are building your email list, and each channel is supporting the others. So you're attracting, you're nurturing your clients and with warm leads and things and converting them to clients. You're retaining them through connections through all these strategies, and that will build your referrals, and on it goes. So your customer journey is you're attracting through social media and networking, you're nurturing, email marketing, lead magnet and print material, you're converting with a lead magnet and website and print, and you're retaining with ongoing communication, which is engagement and referrals. So you don't have to do everything at once. That probably sounds like a lot of things. And so it just depends on where your business is at, whether if you're existing, you've probably all got a website, maybe email marketing and socials are pretty cheap to get away networking. Print and lead magnets are the ones that I often find maybe a bit falling behind. It just depends on where your business is. If you're starting out, I'd say your website again, because it's your main port of call for holding a lot of information that a prospective client wants to look at. Have a think about a print item that you can leave, or as I said, the postcards are often really cool, and who doesn't love getting something in the mail, something delivered. They're always just, once again, it's all about this keeping in front of people. Lead magnets can take some time to get together, get the content together, figure out what the topic is. And as you have a lead magnet, getting that set up is also, of course, setting up your email nurture sequence with that goes with that to once again keep nurturing them through and hope they get in touch with you. Email marketing, send out at least once a month, keeping in touch, and check out as I keep saying, check out your competition. What are they doing? What do you like? What emails do you like getting that you find interesting, and the way they're laid out? Do you like it all? Do you like a lot of pictures? Do you like just straight words? There's a variety of options of different ways you can present your material. Social media, figure out where your client is most likely to be. And I'd say for this group, we're probably all on LinkedIn. You can, don't just, was it not reinvent the wheel, but take whatever's your LinkedIn post and put it on Facebook. You never know. I mean, if you're really into Instagram, it could be a platform to still be on. You can still cut and paste and have it on all of the platforms if you wanted, but just choose one initially and stick at it and get proficient in that one. And your networking. So choose, one or two, maybe, as I said, to figure out where your clients are, where they're likely to hang out, or where collaborators are, and regular, once again, consistency. So you're building, step by step, build consistency across all these is what keeps it all humming along for, we all go through the highs and lows of times of business, and it's always in the quiet times that you want this to have been working to keep those leads coming in. Right, so your business is ready to grow, make sure your marketing shows it with those 6 strategies. So yeah, Q&A. Oh, I am about 20 minutes, that's not bad. Any Q&A? I've got questions if nobody else does. Hope that was helpful. Oh, Paul, okay.
Hello, Terry.
Hi.
Thank you very much. That's really interesting. So tells me priorities. What's your you talked about Google search and content and so on. What do you think AI is doing to this space? Because I've stopped using Google search, or when I do now, I get an AI answer anyway, and it might be too hard to answer. But have you got any inclinations?
I only saw, I know an SEO lady, and I only saw the other day that, it's an interesting shift. When you do search for anything, it's Google is bringing in, it's not even really just giving you the traditional list of websites to go and visit. It's bringing up free things that you almost don't have to even go off Google's to find your answer. So you're not even getting pushed out to the website, really. And the other thing I heard was a lot of people actually using even AI to Google's to search. They're not Googling, they're using whatever AI platform they've got to ask it a question, and it's giving. The only thing I would say from that is I would still prefer, I myself at the moment would still prefer to go to Google to search, because AI is still learning, and whether the platform, we were only talking about this before with the recordings of things, you're actually teaching the platform. Is that making sense? Sorry, you're teaching. You're teaching.
You're giving away your IP.
Yeah, in one form, but there are different. So all those restrictions. Sorry, I don't know if that answered your question in the end, but so it's interesting where it's going. Just going back to the Google search thing, where you put in a search and it brings up all these pre-answered, as I said, answers your questions, and then sometimes you can push, drop more, and the more you ask, the more it sort of readjusts all its questions even further down below, and it's just not pushing you even out to the website. So
Okay, thank you.
See where that goes. So that actually, just going back to SEO for your website, another thing I was online with the other day, a lady said, for New Zealand, if your audience is predominantly in New Zealand, good organic search, if your website and everything is operating and set up really well, Google's organic search within New Zealand is probably suffice. It would be more if you're wanting to head off over shore with that you'd want some really heavier SEO and probably get into get into Google AdWords and further afield, but big advertising. Just a comment, within New Zealand, you probably would, your website and everything set up right would work with what they call organic SEO. Sorry, if that makes sense.
Thank you.
Yes, Dean.
And you, Terry. Very interesting, all of that as well. Well, SEO was never something that really bothered me, I think, because a lot of the time the website was to direct people to who you already knew. So in this line of consultancy, does SEO have a big role to play, do you think? Or is it, is it through more the organic kind of interactions that you're going to get traffic to your website? How important is it, I suppose, for smaller businesses, do you think?
A little bit like what I was saying there. If your website's set up well with all your keywords and phrases, which you can obviously research a lot, and with AI, yes, you can write a lot of your copy and things, and that's where the organic search in New Zealand, I think, would still work really well. But it's having all these, everything's, the more Google can see pointing back to your website, so which would be through your lead magnet, your socials, your email, your print, or whatever. Well, maybe print because people got to tap that in, but it's all part of that circle of interacting with each other in all these the strategies. it's all this cross stuff going on all the time. So you're getting people from your social to go to your website. You're getting your email marketing, people from there are linking out to your website or contacting you. And yeah, it's keeping all that going. So if you've written a blog that's got some good traction across your website, your email marketing and your socials, that's all that cross-linking going on all the time, which is what often Google is looking for. And also if we're part of your networking hub, we get tagged, and all the rest. So it's keeping all that going, which is where your social media does play a part from that angle of being active on socials, putting out your lead magnet, people downloading. Yeah, it's just all that integrated cycle of the strategies. Sorry. So that from SEO, as far as search engine optimization, as I said, unless you're actually getting into big overseas stuff, if you've set up well enough with these strategies, and the organic reach should be quite all right in New Zealand. It's still quite strong.
Yeah, well, and related to that, Terry, just one of the things I see when businesses set up is they set up a website which is one page, a template. It's all on there. Who are we? What we do? The services. Are they worse than nothing? I mean, because they look pretty rubbish. Or is it better that somebody have one of those?
I'd say it's better to have something than nothing. Right. I've got a client who's only got a one-pager. She's got a very niched market, having said that. So she's only got a one-page website. She set up her lead magnet and she's building her database. I think she's got about 30, 35 now on her database off her lead magnet, so she can email to them. She gets inquiries off her website weekly because she is a narrow niche. She's from one angle, which makes it easier. So yeah, when you're a bit more broader, the more you can have in your website, the more Google's going to put its bots through to find things. So don't be afraid to fill it with a lot of information, because we all have different learning styles, and that goes back even to print. We all got different learning styles. I got print everywhere. Love tangibility stuff, touch and feel and stuff. And I love reading. So, and some people prefer bullet points, so you might have bullet points at the start of a page to give those people that just want the bullet points, and then you might flesh it out further down. When you'll sometimes see that in those sales pages, we know that, go really long. But they're always just trying to build on that credibility and try and give the person, the viewer, as much to read. So yeah, it's better. One pager is better than nothing, but if you can pad it out. And obviously, as I said, if you've got your blog, that's going to keep your website, active. And that's what Google's. If you drop off probably past 6 months, Google's not even it's going to shoot right past. And
yeah. Oh, thanks, Terry. And by the way, if anyone's got a one-page website that they're very proud of, I'm very sorry.
Yeah. That's all right. Yeah. So
there was a fashion for a while to build websites on one page and have you able to navigate around. So I think, there's sort of, anyway, it was a fashion.
Yeah, I mean, you still sometimes get them as far as, you can have hidden pages on your website that are just one page. So sometimes it'll shoot your lead magnet will go to, and you can just have a full-on sales page within there. But often people, can still find the rest of the website. Excuse me. So yeah, it just depends. We're used to scrolling, but how far do you want to scroll? Thank you. Right, what were my questions? So who has updated their website in the last month? Woohoo! Yes, well done. Yeah. And what about the lead mag? Katie? Yep. Katie, you got a question?
Your microphone's off. You got to turn your microphone on.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, sorry. I was putting my hand up to say that I had updated my website. I was actually just doing it this morning before I jumped on. So it was good timing, this.
Yeah, very good.
Thank you.
Yeah. And what about your email marketing? You know, have you emailed out in a while?
Yeah, I did mine last week. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you can get people to write them, you know, for you if you're struggling. But often it's a good thing to keep listening to your clients. You know, what are they asking? What are their constant issues that they're to give you topics to write on. And if you write a blog, you know, that has lots of ways, as I said, of being, you know, into your newsletter, on your website, into your newsletter, split it up for your socials, put it as an article on LinkedIn. So you get a lot of mileage out of a blog, that's for sure. And some people do get them to, you know, there are people out there that will write them for you and even put your, you know, do your constant email marketing writing. So do you all know where your clients predominantly hang out? Does anybody use anything beyond LinkedIn? No? No, it's interesting.
Where are the other places they can hang out?
Well, it's in yeah, from my thing, it's I have to take it client by client, but if it's consultancy sort of practices, I would say yes. Oh, there you go. Insta, LinkedIn, my free market, so it's busy. Yeah, great to know, Katie. Okay. Yeah, I was going to say you got to get. Thanks, Marianne. Got to obviously, I would say pick one and be proficient at it. But once again, you can still take that information and pretty well copy and paste or get those platforms that'll just automatically stick it to other platforms, because, you know, a lot of people, I'm more likely to look on Facebook at the weekend. Got maybe, and I've got Instagram as well. I'm not that great on there. I mean, you might be a TikToker. You might find a new lot of people on TikTok. Just, yeah, where you feel comfortable. Start with that and make the most of it there. What about networking? What's one awesome opportunity that's come your way because of a relationship you've built through networking? I'm always so fascinated, you know, when you turn up at networks. I just love hearing about what people are doing and what they're up to, and you do get ideas, you know, of different people, different things that spark conversations or ideas and different opportunities.
I have decided to invest more in personal networking than online networking. So I've joined various forums like the AI forum, like this forum.
Ah, right, yes.
The Lower Hutt Chamber of Commerce is very active for small businesses, and in person is much more authentic. And I think with the way that things are going, I think actually that authenticity will increasingly become valued again. So
very much so.
Yeah.
Thanks, Paul. Yeah, no, very much so.
Go. Phil has a question, I think.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say I agree very much with what Paul was just saying. And in fact, one of the ways that I found is most effective in networking is to develop working relationships with people who have complementary skills and expertise to your own, because we can't be all things to all people. And one of the best things that we have to recognize is that sometimes with working with other people who have complementary skills or in other areas can be really valuable. And just keeping in touch with people and demonstrating respect, keeping people's confidences, supporting people sometimes when they just need a trusted colleague to call and have a chat about the situation, knowing it won't go any further. And those are the kinds of things that reinforce relationships over time and build trust, and that's where your referrals tend to come from, I find.
Yep, well said, Phil. Yep. What did I read the other day? You know, you can't rush trust. So it's very much.
I think I was exactly what I was going to say. I think it can take 2 to 3 years potentially to build a relationship that works.
Yeah.
And I think people are quite disappointed when they don't go to a network event. They can be, you know, and don't come back with something, 3 leads to close it. It's just doesn't work like that. It's just takes such a long time.
No, what did they used to call it? You know, spray and, you know, spray your business cards around and walk away. Oh, you know, that didn't work, you know. But yeah, that's the thing with networking. I've learned, you know, working for myself for these years, it's like, yeah, just turning up consistently. Just find a couple that you really love going to. And you've got a client in the Rosebank Road. So I said to him the other week, "You're in the Rosebank Road Association?" He said, "Oh yes," he said. And I said, "No, don't go there." I said, you know, don't go with that attitude. I said, "You got to go." I said, "You got to turn up." I said, "You just," and it's once again, you know, I'm always going on about consistency, but yeah, keeping it all
And
consistent.
you never know who you're going to meet and who's going to be a worthwhile. It could just be a last thing, like you said, you just flung out your business card, or you just said hello to someone, and then they thought about it for a couple of days, and then they came back. So you never know.
No, yeah, follow up with them. You know, as I said, if you really think there's a connection there or something, yeah, take it offline. Yeah, go and have that coffee with them, go and meet them, find out more about them. Sometimes they're outside of business life. That's where other connections can happen as well. Not necessarily business, you know. You're connecting all the time. Yeah, so any what else did I have here? Emails, lead magnets. So has anyone got lead magnets working? I got about 3. So
What do you mean by a lead magnet?
oh, that's the bit of information you've got in a probably PDF format that people to download, to give you their email address. Yep.
I quite liked the idea of using print for that. I never thought of using print for it. Seems so obvious, but yeah, and leaving that behind rather than a business card. Yeah, that's an interesting idea. I'll give that some thought.
Yeah, because I still think, you know, if you've been to see somebody and you leave, it's like being on social media. You could be out that door and phone goes and someone else is in their ear. So if you can leave something tangible that they can see, and it will hang around. You know, as I said, think about your own habits of what you might receive something even in the junk mail. You hold on to it. We've all got those drawers with a pile of bits and pieces in them that you might reference back to, just because you think, oh, you know, I'll hold on to it. Yeah.
Do you see the role for a brochure? So a physical version of much of the stuff you have on the website. Does that still have a role? As opposed to something which is, you know, decent, helpful content. If you see what I mean? That I know one is marketing, one is education. That's what I suppose the difference for me.
Yeah. You're still, I mean, yes, you're going to point them back to the website, but with the print material, but it's still, it's a tangible. And as I said, some people they think sometimes it's more real, maybe, than, you know, you've seen them, you've dropped something off to them, got more weight to it. And I don't know, it's an interesting thing. But there was a lady down at a market, and friend, and anyway, she said, "Oh, you know, what else could I do?" I said, "Well, you know, people are coming up and sampling, but you're not giving them anything to take away. You know, they once again gone to the next stall and they're gone. So they're not going to remember even what your name is if they're not too au fait with you. So it's like, it's just good, I think, to actually physically have something tangible that you can give them. Go away with.
I go to the School of Philosophy and tutor there, actually, and the first event I helped them with was when they were on a stand at a fair or something, and I was really impressed that they gave away thoughts. They gave away, you know, things that were these little notes that were provocative, and I just thought, you know, I wouldn't know what the School of Philosophy would have given away. Oh, that's what they gave away. These just provocative thoughts to get people thinking. And I was just like, gosh, you know, that's really clever, because, you know, they're not giving away jelly beans. Who cares? But it was. So I think there is always an opportunity, as you say, Terry, to give away something. And there's some reciprocity, I can't say that word, in giving things away, isn't there?
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, and even like, you know, receiving that thank you postcard through the mail, or I don't know, 10%. I mean, there's probably more with e-commerce, but you know, your 10% off deal and stuff like that. So yeah, it's once again keeping in front of them. Hi, Katie. Yep.
Hi, sorry, I've just turned my my video on now because I was eating my lunch before. So
That's
please
all right,
excuse me.
lunchtime. Yeah.
And I was also trying to change my name. That's my maiden name, so it's actually Katie Lander instead of Katie Taylor for everyone. I thought I'd just share what I do a lot of sales training, and one of my tips that I give everyone is around if you do exactly what Terry was talking about, leaving people with something or always following up with an email. And I say this because, and I use the story in my sales training, I always will send a person an email after and make sure that my logo is in that email. One, because it's got my photo on it, my branding, and then they have something that they can go back and search in their search bar in their email. So example, I do a lot of recruitment, and I had a reply to an email from a customer who'd never used my services before, and it was 2 years prior, the thread underneath. Katie, I now need your help. But you know, it's not right then and there that people need your services. But if they either remember your name or your business name, they can type that into their email and find you.
Very good. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. That's great. Yeah, very good. That's great follow-up. Yeah.
I've got something. I went to a panel beta about 30 plus years ago, and they gave me a little duster, you know, for dusting the furniture. And I've still got it. I've got a couple of them actually, because I had a precious 30 years ago. So I think it's also about a unique thing. It doesn't have to be, you know, the same old pen. And I thought that was quite unique coming from a panel beta. It's the tangible thing. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, if you can, find that little quirky something that relates. Yeah. That's cool. Oh, how are we going? All right. What are the questions I have? No, I think that's about it from me. Other questions? No?
No, we can wrap up if nobody wants to ask any more questions. Anyone?
That's all right.
Thank you very much, Terry.
Everything.
That was
Yep.
great.
Lovely. Thank you very much, everybody. Nice. Thanks for coming online.
Yes, thank you, and thanks, Terry. That was really interesting.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks very much, Terry.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.